Hi, friends. Host Eric here, host of Talking with Famous People, and I'm back from my date. Yes, tonight I had a hot date. I met a woman on OkCupid. Her name was Jen, and I took her to a restaurant in Burbank where I had taken another lady before. A lot of people live in the general Burbank slash North Hollywood slash whatever area. So Burbank's kind of a good central location for a restaurant. So I'd actually taken a lady to that restaurant before. Back before I started dating Kim, I went on a few dates from OkCupid, and so when I Googled restaurants in Burbank for the first time since I last was dating, popped up first. I hit it again, and there you go. Went to the same place again. The last time I got in a big argument with the lady that I was with. It was an ENFP who started right in critiquing capitalism as soon as we sat down. But good morning. It's legal to think. I am back. I'm back from my date. It started at 8:30. It's now almost 11. So we chatted for quite a while there at the table. I ordered the spicy chicken, which they warned me ahead of time was going to take 25 minutes to make. And I said, okay, hi, Eileen. I said, that's no problem. So, we had a great conversation. And for a long time in the conversation, I was thinking, okay, I think she's at ISTJ. I'm pretty sure. And then I finally got around to asking SI questions. ENTJ. Total ENTJ. She couldn't remember a goddamn thing. Totally ENTJ. So, and frankly, adorable. When we sat down, she was, well, I didn't, it was natural conversation, right? And I was just drawing my conclusions in my head. And then she said something that caused me to go, she can't be an ISTJ. And then I started actually testing her, like giving her personality type of questions because I was confused at that point. Went great. It was great. We had a great time. We chatted for a long time. She seems like a great lady. She's she's an ENTJ, so, and she's got a textbook ENTJ kind of job. She works at a big corporation in Los Angeles area and dots I's and crosses T's and excuse protocols and things like that. And she said lots of things that made me think, all right, I like to hear that. Like she talked about her kid. She's got a middle school age kid, and even though she's my age, she had it a little later than me, I guess. Well, Murphy seemed backstack. I did think it was kind of active maybe for an ISTJ, but I saw the TE and I saw the backstack FE, and I asked questions about sort of natural SI questions, like, are you somebody who needs to get a lot of sleep? Or shit like that. Are you in the comfort, chilling, homebody, stuff like that. A lot of those questions she answered yes, but then after I figured out she was an ENTJ and I started asking some more things, I realized she was sort of describing how she would be if she weren't working all the time. I was like, ENTJs are normally workaholics. She's like, yeah, I'm a workaholic. Did you let her know how aroused you are within 5 minutes of meeting her? That's important. No. I gotta say, she had the right amount of cleavage showing too. It's a tricky thing when you're dating, going on a date from OkCupid or something. You know, the lady wants to uh, show some of her assets, but she's got to be somewhat tasteful about it, right? It's a tricky equation that how much cleavage is the right amount of cleavage thing. She had the right amount of cleavage out. I took my opportunities to look at it whenever I thought she wasn't watching. you know. But yeah, it was great. It was really nice. She seems like she's got her head on her shoulders straight. She's, you know, um, seems to have the right attitude about how people have to treat each other and stuff like that. She was watching me. That was the game. Well, I mean, I wasn't afraid to let her see me look at it a little bit here and there, but I also didn't want to be creepy. So I mostly tried to avoid looking at her boobs too obviously, you know. Is she familiar with typology at all? She didn't seem to be really very familiar with it at all. She had thought herself an introvert. She had a ex-boyfriend or something that told her she was an introvert. I'm quite confident about her. Her SI polar is without any dispute, and she's not FE, so that makes her ENTJ. The SI is. It was really interesting when I started talking to her about how she didn't remember things. She started remembering instances from her past where she realized how much worse she remembered things than other people. So, like, she remembers this story, which is when she was a teenager, they went and saw a movie, and when her mom picked them up, the mom asked, "Well, so what was the movie about, or how was the movie?" And she was completely at a loss for telling what happened in the movie, and her friend related all the details of the movie. So it's like that's a textbook ENTJ thing. She remembers other people's specific details, but not her own. Right, and she wants you to check it out a little bit, or else you're just too non-physical. So it's a fine line to walk. But I gotta say, I realized at the end of this day tonight, oh, I'm good at this. I'm totally good at this. You know, uh, I told her, and she seemed kind of surprised. I was like, well, I really haven't dated much at all. I've never really done it much before. I had a few days before Kimberly, and that was it. Full experience of my dating. Yeah, you would think so. I agree. Except it's like she also told this kind of story, and this is textbook ENTJ. Normally, I used to run around the Rose Bowl with somebody normally or something. Okay, meaning she's talking about a repeating event. And my friend would tell me stories with so many details, and I find it relaxing almost jogging next to her and listening to this. I'd say to her, "How could you possibly remember that?" She'd remember like the color of her carpet in her room and stuff. Now that's not actual SI. That's remembering the takeaway and relating the story as not a specific event like the movie, but instead as a repeating event. So the movie did give me pause for the same reason that Freddie Chandler says there. But what I realized is that's a textbook thing that she's going to have a takeaway moment on because she's realizing a dramatic difference between herself and other people. Has no explanation for it. And when I provide an explanation finally, of some sort, then she's able to recall back that takeaway moment that she had. But when I pressed her for what specifics about like what she did this morning, my little like first I did this, then I did this, then I did this, then I did this. Couldn't do it at all. Couldn't do it at all. Did she sign the first date contract that explained we would all be sharing the afterglow online? Because I told her that would be happening. I said, I should warn you right off the back. She sort of right off started asking about the YouTube channel, which wasn't my plan. Like our plan was sort of direct the conversation towards her most of the time, and then But she sort of asked about it right away. And I told her, well, I should inform you right now. I will be talking about it online after the date, and also that I did a stream before the date called pre-date live stream. I'm going to do one after the date called post-date live stream. Except I actually thought, what would probably be a better title is "What Type Was My Date?" Would be a more exciting title, maybe. So I went with that instead. SI is the atemporal analysis of physical reality. That means memory, comfortability, etc. Yeah, okay. I like that description of it. Atemporal analysis. The problem with that is it's not really atemporal. I mean, it's at least linear, whereas NI is really more atemporal in its construction of things. But whatever. No, I didn't get laid. I knew going in I wasn't even going to try to get laid. I was just going to meet her, talk to her, find out if we're compatible or something, and decide if I want to go on a second date with her. I decided I did by the end of the date. And so I told her after I hugged her and said goodbye, I said, hey, I'll call you in a couple of days and we'll set up another one, okay? If you're down. And she seemed happy to say yeah. And so we're going to go on, not probably, we're going to go on another date. And I'm happy about that. She seems nice. She seems smart and not fussy, which is nice. What would happen if you realized your date was an XSFP? I mean, I still might like her just fine. It depends on the individual person, and probably an XSFP relationship wouldn't last at all. But, depending on the circumstances, I might be willing to provide a little bone or a lot of bone, depending. Hey, I have another one of those where in the stack questions. So where would you think someone with SI would be if they had very good memory SI but not really good physical SI? That's going to be fourth slot, probably. ENFP or ENTP. Yeah, NI is something like the abstract evaluation of atemporal ideation. Have permission to investigate her? No, I'm not going to give any details on her that could identify her. I told her I wouldn't right off the bat before she even asked. She looked nervous when I told her that, and I was like, don't worry, I'm not going to. I respect your privacy. I'm not going to give any information about you. Your name's Jen. There's got to be 4 million Jens in Los Angeles. What does physical SI refer to? Is it like remembering to shower and take medication? That's part of it. It's, if you go more than a day without brushing your teeth, you got pretty bad SI. People with high SI, they go, oh, my mouth feels so gross. I can't possibly tolerate it any longer. Yeah, don't harass Jen. Hopefully she's here watching this right now. Hi, Jen, if you are. Very nice chatting with you this evening. You're a nice lady. Pretty adorable, too. When you were all, oh, I'm saying like too much. That made me smile. So that could apply to like first or third slot, too. I don't even remember the original question, Geo Niggy. Let me see. I have another one of those where in stack question. Oh, right. Could be third. True. Absolutely. INTPs have much better SI than ENTPs, though. So I wish if Stacey were here right now in this live stream, I'd ask him to expand a bit more on the third slot SI, but I'm not sure. Philosophical thinker is whatever type we typed him as. I forget what it was, but we typed him. Who is more sexually promiscuous, ENFP or ENTP? ENFP. ENTPs are not very sexually promiscuous. I'm pretty. I bypassed the only time when I could have been sexually promiscuous. There was a time when I could have been sexually promiscuous around the time when I started going out with Kimberly, but I was too scared, and I didn't. I couldn't step up and own it. Now I could step up and own it, but I'm too morally careful to do that stuff anymore. SE Polar, bad at sex or getting laid? Getting laid, I suspect. I'm also kind of bad at getting laid, or I used to be, I guess. I could be good at it now. I just don't want to have a lot of casual sex. I mean, I'm not entirely opposed to it if it happens, and I like this lady a lot. If she were an SFP, for example, maybe I would have tried to go home and bang her, but it wasn't that kind of date. It was two people getting to know each other, and I think liking each other and enjoying the conversation, and there's no reason to rush anything. If we go out a few times and continue to get along well, I'm sure I'll fuck her soon enough, But not in any hurry. And I is the process of ideating in relation to abstractions, so they're seeing patterns and archetypes they're showing or not. Okay. I did ask this lady some TI questions. She she displayed about third slot ish strength SI, which I mean TI, which is probably I would normally expect a little bit more robust, maybe from fifth slot, but it's within the range of fifth slot. It was not inconsistent with the NTJ. I think you should move on and have some fun now that you're single. I mean, look, what I'm saying is I don't have a plan here. I don't have a plan to go out and slay the puss. I don't have a plan to fall into a relationship. I have a plan to try to be, to try to take as the universe dictates. It's like they say in sports, let the play come to you. Like, take what the game gives you. What was she wearing, and what kind of shoes was she wearing? What color were her eyes? Did she have any pets? What was she wearing? She's wearing this shirt that showed a certain amount of boobs, and not that much boobs, but definitely some boobs on display. And she had on a skirt that was gray with black stripes on it. And that's it. I don't remember what else she had on, if she had anything else on. I don't know what kind of shoes she wore. I didn't look. What color were her eyes? Brown? I'm not sure. Does she have any pets? I don't know. She has a kid. It's kind of like an advanced pet. Do your dates ever get weirded out of being poked and prodded with typological questions? Lol. Well, Octavio, I don't have a bunch of dates to refer to. I've only gone on maybe 4 or 5 dates in my entire life. So, um, I don't know. But I will say this: one conclusion I drew correctly, I think, and feel confident about is that I'm actually very good at this. I One thing she said was indicated that as she'd been dating for a while, that a lot of people just don't listen. They just talk, or they don't really listen. I was really listening. I was asking her questions and really listening, and I don't think she felt prodded with typological questions. I think she felt as though I was trying to understand her, which I was. Always compliment a lady's shoes. And if someone confuses you or frustrates you, simply look at their shoes. Shoes and the old lady who lived in the shoe has a bit too much trivia stored in the pantry, SI. Ian TJ Sarah. If I may ask you, how old were you when you lost your virginity? 18. My hymen was popped, and I bled a little bit, but it was okay. Now, I will note, of course, that really I lost my virginity the first time that I had a nocturnal emission as a 13-year-old or 12-year-old. I waited a long time. I mean, I wasn't reproductively viable. I wasn't considered dateable. Oh, fussology, that's because you're not respecting your neuroticism. That just happened to me too. In the past, I used to just trip out about that shit and freak out about it. You're not respecting your neuroticism. You gotta be in a place where you feel comfortable with somebody that you actually feel comfortable with, who respects your neuroticism as well. Eric and Tay? I don't remember Eric and Tay. Who's Sarah? I don't see. Oh, there's Sarah. What type was she? She was ENTJ. ENTJ. It's not a butane torch, it's a propane torch. And its name is Torchy Warch or Warchy Porch, depending. Look, Winston's mom and fussology as well. The thing to remember is everybody's scared. Once you're not scared anymore about whatever, you realize that everybody's scared. I mean, I'm not anymore for some reason, but that's why I now see how everybody's scared. I was sitting there at that date tonight and talking to this woman, and she's nervous about saying like too much. And yeah, it's pretty adorable. But I just want to say to people, there's nothing wrong with you, you know? There's nothing wrong with you. And we beat ourselves up over shit like that. I mean, I remember just, it's not scared of sex, it's scared of failure, you know? You're scared of looking ridiculous in front of a woman. You're scared of seeming inadequate or whatever. You're not scared of sex. You're scared of the fact that you think you're more scared than other people, or that you're more lonely, or there's something more messed up about you, or other people understand more clearly than you do. And the fact is, very few people understand more clearly than you or most people. And those who actually do understand more clearly, there's nothing to be scared of, because those people have your well-being at heart. You are not scared, no way, Eric? No, I'm not scared. I get nervous a little bit sometimes, but I'm not scared. I used to be scared, so I know what it means to be scared. Please stop thinking. I don't want to stop thinking, Matthew. You stop feeling. Right, it's a performance thing. It's like men want to know that the women are pleased with them, that additionally that the woman thinks you're a man and gets a job in the man capacity and stuff like that. It's because both parties, or one party or somebody, forgets that they're just two fragile humans in a room together, trying to find some sort of connection. And I don't know. I just wish everybody would be nice to each other. Countess one, the date went great. I went out with this lady. She was an ENTJ. About my age, but with a middle school age kid. So she had her kid a little bit later than I did. And lovely woman. Very efficient seeming. Very problem solving-y. She's got good, reflected upon tool function NI. Not just like mindless tool function NI. I appreciated that because sometimes, if you get your ENFJs especially, sometimes they get a little like enamored with their NI. And I'm like, whoa there, Mr. Singular Truth. Don't forget about my extroverted intuition here. But no, she seemed to really have already done a lot of sort of metacognition about it and stuff in a way, although not obviously explicit cognitive functions. Let's see what this says here. I'm actually TE-DOM, but it's by with FI, hence my name. Anyway, the Bible is wrong on sex, period. What does the Bible say about sex? Does it say anything about it? Someone please tell me what happened. Just a pleasant time. What did I miss? Anything good? How did the day go? We're on the show. Tell me again. Eileen, banana hammock. Princess is not playing it safe. Who is funny and like cheese? Formal dates are awkward. Mine wasn't awkward at all. It was quite pleasant. I didn't find it remotely awkward. I found it interesting. It's like, I get to find out about this person. I get to try to do a good job of dating. I get another shot at it. I was scared last time, and it came through and influenced my behaviors in ways that weren't necessarily good. Like I had Viagra last time I was dating. I went and got Viagra from the doctor. Why? Well, because performance stuff. Like I want to make sure I perform adequately if I'm going to get laid. And it was like stressful because it's like, well, should I take this pill or not? And if I do take it, I don't want to waste it. So she better put out like that kind of crazy fucking thinking. I don't worry about it anymore, obviously. Yeah, she seemed bangable. Totally. Oh, I was getting horny after a certain point at the dinner, just sort of checking at her boobs a little bit, hugged her, and watching her smile and be unself-conscious made me horny. Because, it's like when you get somebody and you're talking to them and they're really comfortable and they're answering your questions and sort of like, and blah, 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 blah. And, it's like you realize, this person's happy to be here. They're having a good time. They're enjoying conversation with me. And, it makes me horny. Well, 8th slot. It serves her when she needs it and is not there when she doesn't. She countervalues it explicitly. She says, like, I don't, if people care too much what other people think, but she busts it out when she needs to, Telling us about it without many details, unfortunately. He doesn't know what kind of shoe she wore. Who would pay any attention to that? I wouldn't. I think ENTJ is a great type for me potentially too. Very no nonsense. I'm pretty no nonsense. I don't like a lot of fussiness. She's busy. I'm not gonna have a lot of time for me. It would be I plan to call her again in a couple days, set up another date. I'm gonna go out with her again and we'll see how that goes. And we're both on the older side, so maybe things proceed a little faster than they might otherwise. But regardless, it was great. It was fun. I just checked him out. I just looked. The only time I touched him was at the very end when I hugged her goodbye. Then I touched him with my chest, in that sense, or my my lower chest stomach area. She's shorter than I am, obviously, as basically all women are. But see, I don't even know how tall she is, because it's like when I see a woman and she's like shorter than me by a substantial amount, that's just normal. So I don't try to even guess how tall she is, really. It's just she's a woman. She's a shorty, she's one of those people that are shorter than me. But almost everybody is. It's being 6'4" means you're taller than almost everybody, but not quite. And when you see people are taller than you, you're like, huh, that person's taller than me. Yeah, Stan, I don't know. I used to be nervous and shit and not allow my physicalities to just sort of happen, I guess, or be too self conscious. But now I notice it. It's like, oh, I'm horny. Do types who lack SE necessarily suck in bed? No, I don't think so. I don't have SE. I mean, maybe I do suck in bed. I don't know, but I don't have SE. I don't suck in bed if given a chance to get to know somebody. I mean, if you're really good in bed the first time you fuck somebody, then you probably fucked a lot of people, I would guess. Or you just, I don't know. I have to get used to people. Freddie Channing, you're 5'9". Wow, that is tall. You're gonna have a hard time finding a man taller than you. I'm short, but on a bed it wouldn't matter. Countess, I have no problem with short girls. It's fine. Um, a lot of advantages to short girls. Reddit MBTI sex groups, number one voted to fuck was ENTP. Go check it out. I don't think SC does it all. But people, look, ENTPs have co opted a lot of the actual qualities of ESTPs in their type descriptions. A lot of the things they say about ENTPs and type descriptions are not accurate. They don't account for our neuroticism. You're spready, huh, Countess? Spready. Interesting. So, Jen, if you are watching this live stream, you should probably just type there, "Hi, everybody." She probably doesn't want to, though. She's like, "No, I'm not going to do that. Then they're going to figure out who I am." God forbid. Countess 1. What song are you talking about? Are you talking about Kang Krishna Sarmapagu? Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. Yes, you and your poo on my shoe. Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. Yeah, Kang Krishna Sarmapagu. You mentioned the song. Otherwise, I wouldn't have sang it. This is so terrible. Like, the Kang Krishna Sarmapagu song is not my greatest song ever. But I will tell you this. Thank you, Matthew Alistair. That's very kind of you. I appreciate it. CWFP is a medium hat. Did you know about small hats? I will tell you a story about a hat. I left my hat at the restaurant and had to go back for it. And I said to him, "Hey, I think I left my hat here. I think I left it on top of my plate, and I think the waitress carried it back into the kitchen." And the guy went back into the kitchen, and he's like, "Okay." This is the thing that surprised me. "What does your hat look like?" Like, how many hats do you have back there? And how many people leave their hat on their plate? But I'm like, it's gray. It's got a brim around it. It kind of looks like a fedora, but it's not actually called a fedora, I found out. And he's like, here you go, sir. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate your security measures for my hat. Made me describe my hat before giving it back to me. You are not an ambiverted ENFP. That's not a good way to test whether you're ENFP or INFP, Sarah. Check your TI. Sarah, I have a quick question for you. Who's my mother's husband's wife's daughter's only son? Who is that? Who's my mother's husband's wife's daughter's only son? Sarah, I'm asking you a question. It's an important question. Can you answer it, please? Without using TI? Couldn't follow. How about who is my mother's sister's kid? Sarah, who is my mother's sister's kid? Who's my motherfucking sister's kid? Who's fucking my mother's sister's kid? Yeah, you're right about that, Shreddy Chandler. That's very TI down with you. I knew that, but I didn't. I left it unstated. Um, you're probably an HP, Shreddy Chandra. Did you know it was your cousin? Yeah, it's your cousin. Okay, so Sarah, you're an ENFP. Okay, fine. You are being trained a lot in TI questions around here, Shreddy Chandra, and I'll buy that. Sarah, you're an ENFP. Congratulations. Free typing for you. Yeah, I know they can. I know. Sometimes they surprise the fuck out of me, Geo Niggy Yugi. INFPs, especially if they've been trained and they have that SI component in the mix, can be quite good with the TI. So I stand appropriately chastised by Geo Niggy Yugi. Really? Yesterday I had a full head of hair. Just yesterday, I was totally full head of hair. What happened? Yeah, well, no, I don't want to differentiate the two without the TI questions, right, Shannon? That's like saying, now do it without the tool that's supposed to be used to do it. Why? That's bad use of NE. That's second slot NE. My nuanced and preferable extroverted intuition says that's not the sort of thing one needs to potentiate about. One fish, two fish. Red fish, motherfucking blue fish. You need some omega motherfucking fatty acids up in his house. Your fatty asses can't hotbox with God. No, that's not Christina from the Raw Rooms. Christina from the Raw Rooms is Christina Forge. Forge. Wait, actually, Eric, what had happened in the typing is somebody had watched pretty much all the videos and so subconsciously had all their answers ready. Okay, well, first of all, if somebody can remember the questions from the previous videos, then there's a decent chance that there's some SI in the mix. But second of all, I get a sense usually from somebody how many of my videos they watched before, and I'll differentiate the questions as need be. If somebody's watched a lot of my videos before and I can kind of tell, then I will change up questions. I'll do trick questions that are like the questions I asked before, but actually have the opposite answer. I'll do shit like that. Was there sexual tension on this date? Yeah, I'd say a little bit, the good kind. A little bit of the good kind. I mean, with you, it wasn't really relevant. It's pretty obvious what you were. I like Christina now. I didn't like her during her typing. I found her annoying. No, Christina's great. I like Christina a lot too. A lot of people want to get on Christina. A lot of people are jealous of her boyfriend. She's not having that. She's saying, no, you stay away from this puss. Ain't nobody getting up in here except for my boyfriend. Nothing, just life, you know. Raw food diet is whack. That's not how you spell whack. It's WAC or WACK maybe. Christina is this blonde chick who's in the wrong rooms, who's an INTJ, who people were saying it wasn't an INTJ. Here's the thing. Well, I mean, okay, if you were adding up enough stuff, sure did, then it's possible you could be an INTP, I suppose. I know you're not trying to hit on Christina. I'm just saying everybody likes Christina. It's very appealing. I don't remember what I was saying. Not chasing the Christina puss. Christina puss stay unchased. Kind of odd reactions. Yeah, INTJs have kind of odd reactions to things. INTJ. INTJ. Oh yeah, sexual tension, right. There's a little bit of it. Not I mean, in a good sense. There wasn't a lot of you know, well, like I said, chatting with her by the end of it was starting to make me horny. Was it making her horny? I don't know. She seemed to convey to me that um she liked me. She she thought I compared well against the average dating people. Look, I typed a EICP today who didn't do as great as I would have expected on the TI questions. So there's some wiggle room in there. I mean, he did great on the genealogy ones, but he had trouble with some of the more formal logic problems. I think the reality is there's an SI component to the TI things that has to be accounted for. There's no doubt about that. You can mostly tell people's placement in slots by speed. So once you get somebody accustomed to a type of question, you can tell by speed. But Sri Chandran, in general, you're wrong in your criticism. Yeah, it's like what Matthew says. How dare you doubt the RTI test? How dare you? Um, but I actually don't think you're an HP, so should do regardless. Right. I mean, the thing is, the majority of the date was very. I mean, the whole date was very pleasant and very nice. It was very uh, appropriate. Yeah. If Countess lived in Southern California, comical cowboy, you are right. She'd be fucked. Hmm. Well, I believe it. I mean, each piece can solve the TI shit really fast. Um, might help. I mean, having good SI probably helps with the TI at this point as well. Okay, well, look, Freddie Chandran, I have a finite amount of time to ask TI questions in a given typing session. And I got other questions I got to ask as well. So I do what I can with the amount of time I have. Obviously, it's the case that if I were to ask more questions and hammer on every area for a lot longer, I could be more certain at things. And I could be more precise in my distinctions. I could say, all right, well, I'm hearing you successful at this kind of TI and not so much at this kind, and that seems to correlate with the type of blah, blah, blah. I don't have an infinite amount of time to ask infinite amount of questions. And I mean, it sounds to like you access NI at that point. If it doesn't require a lot of things. Yeah, I mean, it's critically important for ENTPs to get into a solid relationship with their NI. It's going to be particularist. In other words, your relationship with your NI is going to be specific to you, and mine is going to be specific to me. But we both are going to have to find our way to accessing that currency that's important to us more directly, namely the truth, the singular, determinate thing. Everybody's trying to bang everybody around here. All of a sudden, this turned into a meat market. NTPs and STPs seem to differ in the way they perceive the TI of others, unless I'm wrong. Right. Well, look, STPs have a relationship with TI in which they learn a lot. They absorb a lot of information. They understand a lot. They process quickly. But they don't generate much ideation. When they do, it's determinate, kind of fourth slot NI framed, singular course kind of stuff. Whereas, like, for example, the ESTP we typed earlier, when I asked him any questions, I asked him kind of any question I don't normally ask, which is, here's a position statement with a warrant. Now, you argue against this. The ESTP, he'd come up with one or two arguments against it, name them, and then that was it. Boom. Hi, Siren Tarot. I still want you to tarot me. Will you tarot me tonight? Will you tarot me hard? Vegetables are nice. Peas, carrots, broccoli, broccolini. I believe tonight at the restaurant I had something called broccolini. It kind of looks like broccoli, but it's taller and skinnier. All right, see you later, Comical Cowboy. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. I'm tired of this negative self-talk, all right, from you. You're okay, Comical Cowboy. You just need to own it. Stop being like all, oh, boo-hoo, because I get it. We can easily beat ourselves up, but it's not worth it. It's not fun. It's not good for you, blah, blah, blah. How was the date? The date was lots of fun. I enjoyed myself. She was an ENTJ. He met Bob's and Vagine. Some of us INFJs aren't listening half the time, right? Really? You know what else is surprising? I'm actually not talking half the time. Yeah, stop this INTJ will slap you. You should go over there and slap Comical Cowboy. He needs to get laid, Countess. He needs to get laid more than I do. You go visit him. Or Comical Cowboy, go visit her. If everyone thought someone was a certain type and it was a plausible idea, but you in space that person was a different one, would you consider the possibility of being incorrect? Well, here's the deal. I have 3 definitive things that can lock some things down in my model. The question is, how can you disprove this model successfully? What would disprove it? And that's a good question to ask. Here's one thing that would disprove the model. If I ever encountered anybody who was both TI polar and SI polar, for example, or TI polar and NE polar, for example. So that would falsify my understanding. I've yet to ever encounter that. Really, Dick Forrest? Well, I'll tell you this much. She said something right of the way that made me happy. One of the first things she said was, "You're a great musician, I said, "Oh, what did you listen to? What did you hear?" And she said, "Chicken pot pie," because it's on the front page. I said, "Oh, well, you think I'm a great musician from Chicken Pot Pie? That's pretty satisfying because, well, I like that song. It's one of my more poorly mixed songs. C.S. Joseph is ESTJ. He is ESTJ, not ENTJ. He is NI polar. All right, so and those ones, yes, if you don't have a definitively testable polar, then there will be one or two or three things. You never talked to my dad, Stan. My dad is super abstract too. He's a ESTJ, though, no doubt about it. So there are instances where, like, for example, there was this ISFJ INFP person. Spacey, I thought she was an ISFJ. She thought she was an INFP. And we both found it very difficult to definitively tell her why she couldn't be an INFP and had to be an ISFJ. Because we didn't have any of the polars to rely on. And, the TI 8th slot, 3rd slot can look about the same. Any 4th slot, that was the one thing that we had really was like, okay, well, you're definitely not any tool function is Y. And you're definitely SI high up. But, it's like, well, how do you know it's not 3rd slot SI instead of 1st slot? Well, I can just tell. Those kind of unsatisfying answers, right? So in circumstances like that, when I have just unsatisfying answers as to why you must be this or that, which happens rarely, but it does happen, in those instances, I concede that I could be incorrect. In the other instances, there are some other types, though, where I can't be incorrect. If I am incorrect, then the polarity is wrong. But if the polarity were wrong, then I would have encountered a dual polar before, or something that was like indisputably like SI polar, but NETI somehow. But then that would ruin the whole cognitive function model. I just haven't encountered anything like that. It's all been consistent. So, I'm right. Thanks, Zandy. You changed your picture. You used to have a different picture. Now you have this picture. You're looking sharp in the sunglasses. What makes you think that he's NI-polar? Well, for one thing, he has absolutely zero respect for the truth. Did you test the NE much? And whom? Yeah, I would love to do that. I'd love to include my father in a live stream and let you meet him. And I think he probably enjoyed too. I just gotta kind of segue him into it. Chicken Pot Pie is one of your songs with minimum TI, so that's why she liked it. I would say most of my songs have not a ton of TI in them. I got a lot of different songs though, so it's hard to say. I think it's just the one she encountered. She sounds like she's has experience in being a music, like a big music fan. She likes music. Only scary if you fear the unknown. Where's Cowboy? We need to cheer him up. There's only one woman here who can cheer up Cowboy, and that's Countess. Bold of you to assume you're interesting. But I got bored and also I've been sick for 5 days. This time flew at Matthew. Matthew's interesting. I first encountered Eric's page 4, 5, 6 years ago. Been a loyal fan. He. Well, thanks, Sarah. That's a long time of talking to fans people. It's a lot of Eric. I'm falling behind here. Sarah Jasmine deserves elite membership status plus the TWFU loyalty points. I mean, this is the first time I've heard that she's been around for so long. I think it's important to set a time aside for romance for all couples. As an introvert, I prefer to hide at home so my partner always says drag me out. The polar test seems to be appropriate and logically consistent. What are the functions you haven't been able to find a polar test for? The only ones I can find it for is NE, SI, and TI. Now I can think of ones for SE, but they would require me to be in physical space with somebody, and so I can't think of any for the other ones. And it needs to be like a definitive skills test, and so I'm not sure. I just maybe I haven't found the questions yet. I don't know. It may not be possible. I'm not sure. Do you believe that every possible combination could exist of cognitive functions? Only the ones that are in keeping with the mechanics of the system. In other words, there's exclusivity and inverse proportionality and stuff that means that you can't have like NE first and SI second. Sorry to change subject. Are any types more likely to have OCD? INTJ? Ask Countess about that. Matthew's threatening to give me more money, everybody. You better not let him do it. Alexander Cruz, I watched her video and told you were adorable and nice lady. She said she had no idea who Errol Derek is and why he eats more cheese. She's funny. Who are you talking about? Can you give an example of zero respect for the truth? Yeah, like you mean in C.S. Joseph? It's just he's not interested in finding out anything that helps him refine his understanding to make it more true. That's what I mean by zero respect for the truth. Could be ENTJ whose only real truth is that he deserves a cult and money. I still think he's the ESTJ, but you're right, Christina. That's possible. If people think, are you a lawyer? I don't think she is. No, Eric, what happened was we were typing Zandy and someone came in drunk and called Zandy boring. We were worried her feelings were hurt. Zandy's not boring. Zandy's wonderful. We love you, Zandy. Don't listen to that asswipe. I believe there are very few true introverts. Most people just don't know how to communicate. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think that antipolar means you disregard truth. It probably just means you don't realize the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. Right, and you fixate on irrelevant detail. You don't know what's relevant. You draw conclusions that are not consistent with the data or the realities. You have trouble managing your NE, basically. You can come up with possibilities, but you can't distinguish between them. Eric, why is your channel called Talking with Famous People? Well, because way back when, beginning of the channel, I made this video out of this little audio skit I had where I interviewed these characters I made. And when I was freestyling it, I said, "Hi, I'm Eric, and I'm the host of Talking with Famous People." And I just thought it was a funny name. So then I just changed the name of the YouTube channel to that. Then I started trying to do like interviews. Like, I'll try to talk to people so it'll be consistent with the name or something. And it's really hard to find people to interview, surprisingly. I just sort of put up an announcement saying, if you'd like to be interviewed by me, then you can come to this room and I'll interview you or whatever. But I had trouble finding people to interview. So things just sort of gradually evolved and it became whatever it is. There's the episode in which the name was invented. It's called the very first episode of Talking with Famous People. Make a massive grid with all combinations of MVJ instinctual types, Enneagram, put your signature on it, and make it spread on the internet. I mean, I've made plenty of documents. I make documents all the time. Some of them are better than others. Is not TI the most truth-seeking function? Well, it's the most disinterested function, but that's not to say it's necessarily the most truth-seeking. I mean, it's been sort of referenced here so far. TI is not a good way to make music. Because there's truth in music beyond that which is deductively determinate. Let's get naked in video chat. Okay. That sounds fun. When I was talking about spread the love, you said spread the legs. Yeah, she's an INTJ. No, you can engage in relentless sophistry and still be TI. That's true. Why don't you put your signature on the ones you created and upload them so you gain more treasure? I do. I link to my docs all the time on Google Docs. If NI is about respect for the truth, and no types of NI in the first and second slot would ever be dishonest, which isn't the case at all. No, it's not. It's not truth like that. Okay, first of all, Freddie Chandran, you're demonstrating NI and everything you fucking say with your NI demonstrative. That's a very NI statement about you, right? You're making right there. Yes, it has a TI element to it, but you're conflating truth and honesty. Like, I want to know about what your core beliefs are. It seems you have a lot of conservative beliefs that I find hard to believe any people would hold. Your father teach you your belief system? Of course not. I mean, as I've explained before, Temple, where every one of my positions is determined by what the actual correct position is. And you can determine that by evaluating the rhetorical slope of all the arguments for and against the positions. I am not attached to any sort of position. Every one of my positions is correct because it is the best position, as to the best of my ability to articulate now, based on all the arguments that I understand now. If somebody wants to present me an argument that is actually a winning argument that I haven't considered, then I will change my position to side with the winning arguments. I never choose the losing side in arguments. That's why I'm always correct. I don't have, I mean, the notion that I could possibly be reflective of a belief system that was taught to me by somebody else is offensive, frankly. The notion that I could be subject to a belief system at all that was not determined in things like politics and stuff, that was not determined by the correct processes is offensive. Of course, I would never do that. I would never believe something. I will always affirm something because it is the most correct position based on the argumentation in existence right now. Well, that's how I always will be. I would never do something like adopt somebody else's belief system. That's insane. It's insane to even think you could adopt a belief system if you want to be a good thinker. You have to parse everything out. You have to know everything. You have to work out all the arguments. I spent decades doing this shit. It's like, I'm going to encounter a lot of people in the country who come up and say, how can you hold this awful position? And the reality is, you don't have any idea why you hold the position you hold. I understand completely exactly why I hold every position I hold and can articulate exactly why I hold every position I hold. I am a correctist. If you want to ask me about a specific position and why I'm correct on it, I will tell you. If you tell me I seem to hold a lot of conservative positions, you're missing the main point. I'm a correctist. I only hold positions that are correct on every specific issue, independent of every other issue. I would never be conservative or liberal or libertarian or anything like that. That is the way to wrongness. I am a correctist. my core belief is I owe it to you and every other American and myself and the world to be right about everything. I can. So I must. I ought to. It's immoral of me. It's wicked of me to allow my personal feelings to make me wrong about anything. I've got a duty to fulfill. Thanks, Hambone. You're the man. Makes me think that part in Deadpool when he said, if your left leg is Christmas and your right leg is Thanksgiving, can we visit between the holidays? That's good stuff. Eric, should all drugs be legalized? Okay, so if you're asking me what I should do as president regarding drugs, the answer is the federal government has absolutely no business engaging in drug prohibition. The federal government does not. Constitutionally, the state governments, I think, is within their purview. And while I might not approve of it, it's not the president's job or the federal government's job to dictate to the states what they do with things that are within their constitutional purview. So, in my capacity as president, my answer to that question is the federal government should have nothing to do with prohibition of drugs whatsoever. It's not within their constitutional purview. In fact, it's explicitly excluded by the fact that we have enumerated powers, and it's not one of the enumerated powers of Congress. Period. Now, the way to resolve this issue is through case law. That's why I intend to use the Justice Department and the Attorney General to challenge this shit. What's your position regarding the age of consent? Thanks, Sandy. The age of consent is appropriate where it is. I don't think we need to raise it. I think we should keep age of consent up where it is. Do I think that, that 21 for tobacco is too high in California? Well, maybe, but I don't feel a lot of sympathy for 18, 19, and 20-year-olds who say, I have to wait till I'm 21 to smoke. Simply because at least it's the sort of thing that what's the word? I lost my train of thought. God damn it. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, age of consent. We need to have an age of consent, obviously, which should be, I think 18 is fine. There's borderline cases like, well, what if a 20-year-old guy sleeps with a 17-year-old girl or something? And a lot of states will have things called Romeo and Juliet laws or something that sort of excuse that. It seems to me if you got somebody over 30 sleeping with somebody under 20, it's kind of creepy, but we got to draw the line kind of arbitrarily somewhere. And if it's under 18, it's more than kind of creepy. So I would say 18 is fine where it is. It's good. My vagina is a little smelly. Well, you should douche. I wonder where Amber is tonight. Well, she might be here. She doesn't necessarily have to give money when she shows up, At you chill. You're with an ISTJ, right? No, I remember you. Who's Andy? On the law of drugs and I'm poor. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Thank you for your consideration. I can't tell you this $4.99 how. That's 1.99 pound sterlings. Pound sterlings are better than dollars for sure because they're fancy and European. Age of consent used to be in 13 in the early 1900s. That's too young. I mean, the thing is, people are growing up more slowly than they used to. Okay, fine. You should not douche. You should use some Vagisil. Use Vagisil and a little bit of honey and with some lavender. Okay. I subscribe to lots of channels too. The thing is, people grow up more slowly now than they used to. And they have fewer responsibilities or different responsibilities when they're younger. And there's a lot of shit. A lot of shit going on, So I think 18 is fine. Do we need to draw an arbitrary line? The vast majority of the world in the U.S. disagree with you. Okay, well, I mean, do you think 30-year-old men should fuck 8-year-olds? Do you? Are some 8-year-olds mature enough to make that decision? Is that really what you think? No, obviously not. Look, anybody who's had a child, right, software dude. So where isn't that an arbitrary line? Sexually developed enough? Right? Do you want to make the age of consent menstruation so that different people have different ages of consent upon when their body changes over or something? I'm opposing it. I am in favor of the age of consent staying 18. Okay, so why draw that arbitrary line instead of 18? I'm in favor of the age of consent at 18. I'm opposing notions that we ought to lower it. Well, the point is there is an arbitrary line to be drawn. The question is, where do we draw it? Some people might say 16 is a better age. Fine. Some people might say 18 is a better age. Fine. Nobody's saying 10 is a better age. So the question isn't a matter of absolute, it's a matter of degree. And the correct age is 18. It's fine where it is. We don't need to expose people who are younger than 18 to even more potential abuse and exploitation and fucking, it's not necessary. There's no reason to look. If there may be circumstances where that 17-year-old Luis and that 29-year-old, in which they both are totally down with it, and then it never gets out to anybody's attention, and nobody ever says anything about it, and that's fine. Hilda Donald. Is that for me? Oh, Hilda Donald. I didn't get you pregnant. Hilda's message came out of nowhere and shocked me. Hilda, how did you find me? Says Jake Forrest. That's interesting. Yeah, I am concerned a little bit about what you're talking about there, Winston's mom. But anybody who pays any attention to this thing will actually watch this will see that I am absolutely opposed to loosening in that area. Having been a father myself and having had a daughter, very developed looking daughter, a teenager and stuff, I'm very much opposed to any sort of trying to say that shit's okay. There's no good to come of that. I mean, there are some good jokes to be made about it, though, Matthew. So, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of complicated questions, but when things are resolved adequately in general, let's not revisit those questions for the purposes of being contrarian, for the purposes of challenging the status quo just for its own sake. If it's working, let's have a little respect for the TE, Being a parent was not that scary, really. When I was a teenager, it was a little like, oh, Jesus. I was the one who said to her and Candace when she was 14 years old, I said, look, guys, you know what we need to do more than anything else. I don't want to hear any pushback. We need to get this girl on some fucking birth control. And Candace is like, she is not having sex yet. And I'm like, well, maybe, but give it a couple weeks. Now let's get this girl on some birth control. And we did. And, I'm glad we did. She didn't get pregnant. It is true that she ended up sexually active at 14. Not what I would have liked, but you can't prevent it. It's like my ex-wife would try to be all, she'd have this boyfriend over and she'd try to keep the door open and keep your feet on the floor and all this other shit. She's like, Candace, you're fighting a losing battle here. They will find a way to fuck. That's how my dad was, haha. Yeah, well. It's on Real Time with Bill Maher this week at the university campus with a new trend going on. We're going to get comments like net legs thrown at them, call it mini rape. Today's youth. Mini rape. It's funny. Chill ass FJ says, I will accept your love and raise you adoration. That's a pretty good deal. ISTJ, you did the right thing. Bill Maher, oh my God, the things I've done, the shame. What things have you done, Alexander Cruz? Done some fun stuff. Done some things that make you feel a little bit ashamed of yourself. That's a good point on the TE there, Countess. Because if you were going to wait till age 21 before having sex, I mean, they don't arrest people under 18 for having sex with each other. They just do it if you're older, It's Saturday night. Can we do something opposite complex? The opposite of something complex? You want to do something simple? You want to poke with your penis. You want to poke real good. You want to poke real simple. You want to poke with your wood. Host Eric said, Charlie Chaplin once said, comedy must be real because when things get bad enough, they're funny. Are you perverted in any way? If so, how do you deal with it? Me? Yeah, I'm kind of perverted. I mean, I guess you'd say kinky or something. I'm not really perverted. What do you mean by perverted? Am I a homosexual? No, I'm not a homosexual. I have a feeling Peaceful Life is one of the abos. People come with their Aborigine shit or whatever their message is. Those who would attempt to troll, we're all perverts, is right. That's true. We were all perverts in our own way. I'm sorry to hear that, Supernova. But they shouldn't have been fucking in the park. That's why it's like, when I was 18, I had sexual intercourse with my girlfriend, but we did it at my house, my room. And she was 16. She was underage. I was 18. But it's like I just turned 18. She just turned 16. We were together before I was 18 for a little while. Well, maybe not. Anyway, I don't think anybody would get arrested for that. Like if you're 18 and she's 16, there's 2 years difference. I don't think anybody's gonna get arrested for that. Yeah, I have a kid. I have a 20-year-old daughter named Delilah. She's a wonderful girl. I love her a lot. She's happy, well-adjusted. She's, ESTP. She's very easy to deal with as a consequence. She and I both have poor FI, so we're both like, this is like the woman I need, maybe, Sanjay. Oh, Jesus, Nix. You have two daughters. I wish I were ESP. I'd get so much shit done. How old is Matthew? 44? Matthew, 44? Yeah. You've been aging quickly the last couple of years. Yes, I do know you have two daughters. I know that. But you keep changing your name, fooling me. Jose, you seem to have a lot of stress hiding behind your eyes. You seem to handle it with grace. How? A lot of stress behind my eyes? I do feel like I handle things with grace nowadays. I don't feel too stressed out. I occasionally feel stressed out about certain things, but this stresses me out. Like soft reduce shit. I get that there are instances of injustice. This is true of any instance where there's a rule, not a standard. So if we wanted to have a standard, we'd say the age of consent is when you are mature enough. But then we'd have to have a decision maker who, with discretion, to implement that standard. The reason we have a rule in this instance is because it's not conducive to a standard. And it's more fair to have a rule where all 18-year-olds are treated the same rather than judged individually on their maturity level. Whenever you have a rule, you have the benefit of standardization, fairness, and a lack of discretion or lack of arbitrariness. But in exchange, what you get is instances of injustice. So remember, we can't choose none of the above. Remember all that stuff. You can use that later. It's good stuff. It's true. It's your life as well, too. That's why I want to talk to you. You want to come at me adversarial and pedantic and shit. You should come inquisitive. Make too many statements, ask too few questions. Because normally that serves you well. In this context, you should take advantage of the opportunity to ask me questions. I gotta get a beverage. That's also stressing me out. Not having any liquids. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate your phone call. Yeah, okay. Let's see here. Dismiss. Okay. Let's see. No, it wasn't Jennifer. So what's the strain tonight? I'm going to California in a few weeks and I want to know what to get. Tonight's strain is titled Honey Cocaine. Yes, honey cocaine. A strain of weed that reminds you of both honey and cocaine. You can't really see it very well with this camera. It's pretty crystally, pretty dank, as they used to say. Let's see here. Can an SC polar be overly aggressive too with words in an argument? Yeah, possibly. I think I'm SC polar, but last year I made my neighbor cry because she said mean things about my dog for no reason. And that's how we take action. It's your tool function. If you feel vindictive, you will say shit that will be very cutting. By the time I went and talked to Kimberly today, I was no longer quite so angry. In fact, I was not angry, and I listened to myself be all like, preachy about what more or less are Christian virtues. And by the time I went over there, I had made a decision to go in full peace, fully, not trying to get anything, not trying to get any mess at her, So as a consequence, the conversation went very differently than it might otherwise have. And she kind of like broke down and, she's embarrassed. She's yada yada. Whatever. Anyway, the point is, what was the point? What was that in response to? Oh, but okay. Well, but before I actually settled down and decided to go in peaceful and forgiving or compassionate or whatever, I walked through my head all the mean things I might say to her and sort of planned to say to her until I realized I didn't want to do that. So, things went very differently than they could have if I had talked to her yesterday and I would have gone in there and said the most cutting things I could think of because I was so fucking pissed at her. Yeah, she fucked up badly. Should never call the cops on them. She should never have backed out on her deal and stuff. But I guess I was asking her the one thing she really couldn't tolerate, which was some remaining human presence associated with me in the house. I didn't really account for that. She probably would have been willing to negotiate just about anything else, but she needed that house to herself, and I didn't quite get that. So anyway, she kind of freaked out, but people do sometimes. People make mistakes, and we all deserve forgiveness. All right, I'm trying to catch up here. Let me figure out where I am. All right, now look, Siren Tarot. What type was she? She was ENTJ. Cool lady. I liked her. That's it. I'm done taking off my eyelashes. This day is done. Congratulations, Alexander Cruz. You're eyelash free for once. You must feel a lot lighter, a lot more spry. I hope you keep your hair on at least. I took mine off a little while ago. All my functions are fucked up. That's not true. That's not true, Eileen. So, Eric, what function would you say deals with realizing you're stressed? SI. When you just mentioned it right then, I realized I was sort of biting my cheek and my face was tense a little bit. I kind of relax it. Eric is sure getting wide. I can feel it. Getting wider and wider. Wider and wider by the minute. Look how wide I'm getting. I used to be this wide, but this wide, but now I'm this wide. Look how wide I am. How do you make the orange rectangle? What does that mean? I don't get that question at all. That's an interesting question. How do you make the orange rectangle? What's her going next day? Sit in front of a mirror. Your date will see herself in the mirror. Will make her be nicer. She was very nice tonight. I don't want to make her be nicer. I want her to be her normal self. How do you make the orange rectangle? I still don't understand that question. It must be all those McDoubles. Yeah, a lot of McDoubles to be had here. Said, take your hand off. Take my hand off my what? My hand's not on anything. It's just sitting here next to my leg. And this hand is on the mouse. See, like this. This hand's just on my leg. Do you think you'd be able to spot if someone was also an INFP, mistyped ISFJ, is actually an INFP or not really? It's Freddie Chandran. Ah ha ha, you still have hope, depending on what you want to develop and why, I guess. Do you prefer more slim women or more homely looking ladies, Mr. Eric? I mean, I don't think the opposite of slim is homely. I like thick girls. I like thin girls. I like lots of different girls. What did ENTJ Jen do for a living? She had a very ENTJ job. She works for a big corporation in Los Angeles, dotting I's and crossing T's and completing protocols and stuff like that. And talks about herself in that sort of ENTJ way where I'm the first one to answer the emails, and it's like, it's cool. I like it. She's fun. And, a backside Effie is always something kind of cute about it, It's eighth slot especially is you can see the effort behind it. It makes me feel validated somehow. The heart opening fallen triangle position? No, don't attempt that one, Winston's mom. You're going to injure yourself. That one's for experts only. But the master level yoga position is called the multifold rhombus water lily. Multifold rhombus water lily is one of the most challenging of all the yoga positions. You got to fold up all of your arms into the shape of a water lily, and your legs, your arms and your legs. You should try it. Winston's mom. It's really complicated. It's ready to go to class, says Jake Forrest. You can't be that lazy. Geonigi would be extremely useful if I could. Depends on what the person focused on when they're talking about their INFP-ness. You could say hood if you want to avoid that. I want someone to put legs on my laptop so when they call that lappy, it comes to me. I want that too, Countess. I want that too. I want a laptop with little legs on it. Although Matthew might enjoy having his aubergine diced, sauteed, and spiced. What's an aubergine? I have to look that one up. I have to Google that word with my Googling finger. Google that word right now. I'm going to Google that word with my Googling finger. Google that word right now. Aubergine. Let's see what that word means. Let's Google that shit. The purple egg-shaped fruit of a tropical old world plant, which is eaten as a vegetable. An eggplant. Why did you say aubergine then? If you're just talking about eggplant. I love the fact that you did. But, I mean, next time I go to a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, I'm going to order aubergine parmigiani. She was a teenage boy for quite a while. She was a teenage boy. Who? No, were ever teenage boys. Aubergine is the non-us word. The non-US word. You mean foreigners use the word aubergine? Geonigigi? You're an American, aren't you? Geonigigi? It's a common American name. In France, it's called aubergines. Kath Rikai curry, eggplant curry, and Tamil. Alexandra Cruz, you a girl. Well, yeah, duh. I gotta get some sleep. Good night, everyone. Good night, Christina. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Or did she say dude or bro a lot too? When they douse themselves in Axe, they morph into teen boys. It's a good point. I think the UK uses aubergines. Good night, aubergines. Good night, Jerry likes the mouse. All the aubergines are going to sleep. Bye, Christina. Take your aubergines with you. You know how you like to roll around on them in bed. Oh, curry. I must be hungry because eggplant curry sounds amazing. Lamau, says Gio Nagiyuki. They say aubergines in the supermarket here, says Jake Forrest. Axe is fuck boy staple. Ooh, I'm gonna get some axe. I'm gonna be like, ooh, humpa, humpa, humpa. I know they're dropping like flies. We're losing everybody. It's the final kamikaze attack by the Japanese, taking out our men like crazy. Aubergine is more fun to say than eggplant. Yeah. I want to get one vegetable that's a cross between. I want to get one vegetable that's a cross between an aubergine and an eggplant. I'm going to call it an aubergine plant. Oh, no. That's not an eggplant. That's an aubergine plant. It's a cross between an aubergine and an eggplant. Eggplant is like a nickname given to aubergine by a meanie. Eggplant's a way better name than aubergine. Eggplant. This is an eggplant. I love my little eggplant. Eggplant tastes like eggs because it is an eggplant. Eggergine? Eggergine might be better than aubergine plants. Aubergine plant, though, sounds funny. Aubergine plant. Well, thank you, God, too. ENTJ and ENTP sounds like they would debate the other, and the other would say, "Go prove the thing to me." I don't think so. She brought up something at dinner, that an argument that somebody she knows makes, and she didn't really know how to respond to it. And I was like, "Oh, you just could say this, you could say that, other thing, or whatever." Okay, so let's move forward in the live stream and read some more chat comments to the world. My name's host Eric, and today I'll be reading in a very, very pleasing voice. Jake Forrest says, Eric, we in the UK have to wake up early for your live streams. You work better than an alarm clock. Well, thanks, Jake. Freddie Champion says, yes, Kathriki, I like you, at Winston's mom. Thanks, Freddie. Alexandra Cruz notes, get your damn Eggergine away from me. Wise words indeed. It's legal to think, says, right swift. Who is pejorative? Pejorative. That's the word I was looking for. Who is pejorative? Would you guys enjoy this live stream more if I always spoke like this? Am I high again? I need to lay off the bath salts. Well, Big M, I want to introduce you to a little place called Timeout. You're going to like it there. Special place we have for individuals with mental disabilities like yourself. Sounds like National Geographic. I could do kind of like more of an NPR thing, That's more of kind of like a radio thing. Try the tranny voice. I have a tranny character that I do. Her name is Lilith. No, it's It's a little Lurlith or something like that. I don't remember what her name is. Hi. I'm. What the fuck was her name? Her girlfriend's name is Lurleen or something like that. But her name was it Edith? Hi, I'm Edith. I'm a very sensual woman. Okay, so let's discuss the wonderful things of nature. Hey, is it too late to book a typing slot for tomorrow? Nope, not too late. I do have stuff scheduled in the afternoon, which I hope I told Spacey about. Just email me, and Spacey will get that email. And he's probably in bed by now, but he can see it in the morning. What time do you want? I could do it right now. I can book it right now if you want. Put it in pending. Let's see. Which slot do you want? We got 11, 12:30. 2 is Spacey only. It's cheaper. You want one of those 3? Do you see the things? I'll put the link there in case anybody else wants to look at it. I only have until tomorrow scheduled. I need to schedule next week. I haven't gotten around to it yet. I will schedule next week soon. But anyway, here is the Mierimia for the PewDiePie. Okay, so this is the world's best aubergine live stream, and that's going to be true probably forever. But I don't think there are. That's true, toxic femininity. That's all time fine in moderation. Why is Spacey's half price? Well, it's a special student discount session. It says right there. You have to be under 25 years old to buy that one. And to make sure I have some things out there that are affordable for younger people. Gosh. Right. Sometimes I'll have one that might be my half price. Me half price too for the same for the thing. This one's Spacey. I have work tomorrow afternoon, so I can't do it. That's why I switched that one. You want to participate in the typing sessions, Freddie? It's fine. No, it's not like that. It's not like that, Sanjan. It's not like that, anybody. It's just, I thought it would be a good time to offer. I was planning on doing a student discount one, and I thought, oh shit, I can't do that one on a Sunday afternoon. And I thought, I'll just do the student discount one with Spacey right there. There'll be other Spacey ones. They're Spacey only. They're the same price. I'd love to see Freddie in his typing session with me too. Typing somebody. You want to do it? Why not you? Why would you even suggest such a thing without being ready to volunteer for it? That is just Mierimia, the Biaribia. Don't be Mierimia, but Biaribia. No use, Freddie Chandran. You're a lovely Indian lady that brings both ladiness and diversity to the thing. Freddie Chandran, Freddie Chandran. You are the person I want to deal with. Come on, Freddie. You want to do some typing sessions with me one day? Well, we'll see, Substitute Dude. We will see. I think what she's saying there is correct. It'd be useful to bring some FI. You have no more FI than I do. But it's possible. We'll see. Not impossible. Freddie Chandran, I'm just thinking, well, I'll make a couple videos with Freddie Chandran. That'd be fun. But, you know, as an official thing, it's mostly just me and Spacey. Hey, Gam. You know what's weird about this is the loneliness starting to get to me. What in the world? Well, you don't have to decide right now. I guess if it doesn't say published, then you can decide later. So it's like, why would it be lonely? I'm talking to all these people here. I don't feel lonely. I feel unlonely. Okay, Sasha, dude. Look, I'm not in any kind of conflict with you at all. I'm not trying to be. Um, I'd like to be helpful just because I'm an older NP who spent a lot of years struggling. I understand that being an NP is not easy. It it takes a lot of time and attention to develop into the right kind of person, and a lot of people don't. Um, I don't know why. I feel bad about like always using this guy as an example. It's really the only example I have, but the zero entropy guy. He's an NP who's older like me, but he really seems to have a chip on his shoulder and doesn't seem so happy necessarily as he could be. And so I don't know. That I just think that when I get enough lonely homosexual bath salts, then I'll finally be happy. Philosophical thinker, you hit that hay. You hit it hard. You hit it with no remorse. You rock that hay. Why are you mad at that Big M? I don't know. I just felt like putting my time out. Whatever. He's he's being like, yeah. What are you gonna do? Me? No, wasn't molested. Not until adulthood. I got molested by a woman in adulthood. I was like, hey, could you molest me again? I'd like you to do that molestation thing you just did to me. With the fondling, remember, and all the physicalities and stuff. I still want to talk to her. I got a song in the works right now. Freddie Chandler, yes, what are you saying? Freddie Chandler, don't be all man, okay? Don't try to have your cake and eat it too. Now you're acting like an FI user. You want to have a good idea that should obviously come with you, but doesn't. No, Freddie Chandler. You know what you're gonna get from me. Are you ready? Uh, uh, It's a finger wag. You just got a finger wag. I wagged it at you. The proper response is to feel shame. Um, yeah, okay. I'll free Big M. He's not really locked away. I put him on timeout or something, but he'll come back. Maybe Rory won't. I don't care. Did you go on a date? Yes, I did. Went on a date with a lovely ENTJ woman. I enjoyed her company a great deal. We chatted for quite some time. Oh, you and your smelly vagina. Nobody wants to talk about your smelly vagina. I hope everyone from your country are polite like me. Me? I'm I don't I guess I'm polite now. I'm polite. But I didn't used to be very polite, and I can still get angry. I could still get yakety max. This is all my dad's stuff. USC memorabilia. He had sort of a arrangement that included those pom poms, footballs, and things like that. But it's got it all smushed over there now. Eric, I don't understand these emotional reactions to my comments. The constant rejection from women finally becoming too much. I kind of have to leave that one. It's funny, I don't feel constantly rejected by women. You want to see? You want me to put you on time as Superman? All right, well, if you want to see what it's like. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Idea for a YouTube show like Around the Horn on ESPN with trivia, host questions, multiple rounds. Oh, a good idea. I like that big M covered there. I mean, I'm the one who pulled the trigger on tonight's, you know, conclusion. I said, okay, well, let's wrap this up after we've been talking for quite some time. And then when we went outside, I hugged her and I said, I'll call you in a couple of days, and sort of dictated the course of how the inning proceeded. I don't know if I could have accomplished more, possibly, but I didn't want to try. It wasn't appropriate. And I've learned some things since 2 years ago. I certainly wasn't rejected by her. She seemed pleased, happy, smiling to say, yeah, I would like to go with you again. So that's good. This is the funniest chat on YouTube. I'll say that. Well, thanks. It's not all hilarity, though, Big M. I know you like to dismiss it as such and just say, oh, it's all a big joke over there. But actually, there's shit tons of excellent ideation, logically sound reasoning as well. So just to make sure that we clarify on the point. It's like my dad always says, as per Swift Eagle, bitches be tripping. Slay or slay not, there is no try. Yoda did say that, and he was right. Okay, plane just left the ground. Bye, everyone. Oh, you're flying somewhere? Where are you flying? To sleepy time? It's constant comedy. Get it? I'm being dismissive. Well, Big M, I appreciate your efforts. I know we all have our need to see impacts from our words, and I'm sure that there's some satisfaction in that. I've been on a constant high on today's live stream. Me too, Sarah Jasmine M, but it's beginning to wane, which means what happens when being on a constant high begins to wane? That means you need to smoke more weed. So, what I'm going to do is smoke more weed. Yeah, I think ISTPs can be that way. He's a very, very old ISTP. You got to remember this. How old is Yoda? 700, 800 years old? Something like that? Now, imagine your average ISTP proceeding down a singular path with his TI, his SC, finding the best way to be and all that kind of shit, the best kind of Jedi tricks, the best pows, the best the best meows, right? And no, 54. He does that for not 60 years, not 70 years, but for 900 years. How good of a Jedi is going to be? He's going to be absolutely fucking amazing. That's how good. And that's how good he is, right? He's the best Jedi. He's got the baddest test tricks. You should definitely wear a hat at least part of the time. Just while you provoked a response. Would a lead TI talk like Yoda? Good point, Brian Goss. Good point. Well, I would say at some point he had a little extroverted intuition one time that said, hey, I got this neat idea. I'm going to do this backwards talking thing. And as an ISP will, he stuck with it for the rest of his 900 years. Did your painting turn out well, AS? Did you paint what I said to paint? Toxic femininity, Big M, Supernova. You guys are full of negativity and badness. May I just say that your negativity, badness, critiquing of others, belittling of others, attempt to attack people, they're all shameworthy behaviors and shall not be embraced, nor celebrated, nor ultimately allowed in this forum. Because that just brings bad shit to life. Remember, the stories we tell come true, so we have a responsibility to tell good stories. And I know you feel very good about badness and stuff, but have I ever had a bad trip on gold caps? What are gold caps? Oh, no, I never have. I've only had good trips on mushrooms. I've had bad trip on acid on a couple occasions. Matthew, you did a great job tonight. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You have purchased some chat ruining latitude. That'd be great. Eric, that troll story challenge, did that test NE and TI? Mostly NE, a little bit of TE. Because of what I said, Countess, the stories we tell come true. The negativity, it seeps into shit. I can tell when shit is motivated with an attempt to be funny, maybe gone wrong or something, versus actually ill-intended. And that was ill-intended. Like that guy, whoever it was, him. So, what time is it anyway? Ooh, it's coming up on 1 a.m. It's going on 2 hours. How tall am I? I'm 6'4". Let's see here. My vagina smells nice, says Countess. Does it smell like flowers and cookies too? You can't have a bad trip on weed. You just got paranoid. Yeah, I'm in the States. Probably Zandy. Probably the trolls or CS Joseph people. It's hard to say for sure. Hilda Donald is one as well. Sarah, you'd think that until you find me, then it'd be worth it. What would Sarah think? I'm in California, Jeannie Gregory. The wonderful state of California. Wonderful city of Los Angeles. I've got local connections I neglected. It doesn't make sense to go out of my way to come find you, lol. And once you had a taste of the Matthew, you never go Matthew. I think Eric could bring top hats and tails back. Make it look for privilege. That's not a bad idea. Top hat. What types most likely to be unsure of their type after reading about NVT ancestors for over a year? INTP or INFP? There should not be a divide between the personality community, typing community. The idea was understanding to Mrs. Mom, I'm increasingly with you on this whole positivity thing. I'm a much different person than I was when I started doing this, and I feel responsibilities I didn't used to feel, and I feel just generally like Yeah, like there's when I hear that thing right there with C.S. Joseph was his mom, I think, Eric, it's like it's easy to bash the guy. I can justify it, but it's not. I don't need to do that. 1 in 16 shot, everyone. What personality type I am? Well, based on your naming of yourself, INTP or INFP, and your presence here, I come to a conclusion and then start to question again after some time. Oh, that's a possibility. Yeah, INFJ. They consider themselves lazy as well. So do INTJs to some extent, but they usually get enough stuff done, so it doesn't matter. Anyone notice he's just been looking too healthy these days? I didn't notice, but it's possible. I don't know. If an INTJ female thinks an ENTP, is that a good indicator? Uh, Not as good an indicator as if I think you're ENTP. If he survives that revelation, you can try revealing he is ESTJ. Someone should diplomatically tell him that his ostrich is actually a dog. That's good stuff. Well, we all see his tactics. Maybe he's a great person, but his execution needs a lot of work and improvement. Uh, yeah. Seen this before, and I wonder if he'll go to the dark side. I don't know. It depends if she knows what one looks like. One what? An eggplant or an aubergine? I guess I'm tired. I guess I'm gonna call it a night. I appreciate everybody being here. It's been a lot of fun chatting with everybody. I really enjoy these live streams. And thanks for everybody for being cool. Good night.